Hello, friends, and I seem to have jumped on another difficult one to cover. This is gonna be fun times, isn't it? Alright, let's get right into it, guys. So, for those who aren't aware, Danganronpa is a series of visual novels that started all the way back in 2010 from Spike Chunsoft, making this its 10-year anniversary. The animation is something most fans do not look fondly upon. I will get to that in a bit. But first, continue with a little history. So, back in 2010, came out on the PSP, exclusively in Japan. However, it had such a cult following that fan translations started popping up almost immediately. Remember, when Danganronpa launched, for those who are unaware, there wasn't much like it at the time. The game is weird, over the top, yet also incredibly stylish, thought-provoking, and very well written at times. I'll get to the plot breakdown in a bit here, but Danganronpa had a fandom almost immediately out of the get-go, which is why it took Spike almost 4 years to give us an official release, with the Vita version coming in 2014, February to be precise, and Danganronpa 2 coming September of that year. Yeah, they decided to jump on that bandwagon really quickly and give us 2 games within a year. As if to spoil us even farther, in 2015 on the PlayStation Vita, we got Danganronpa Another Episode Ultra Despair Girls, the spin-off game. And now for the anime. See, the game had come out in Japan in 2010 with its sequel in 2012, which is why in December of 2012, after the second game had launched, they announced at Kadokawa that there would be a Danganronpa anime adaptation to adapt the entirety of the first game, which would air from July 2013 to September 2013 from Studio Lurch? Is that how you pronounce that? This studio is known for doing works such as Assassination Classroom, Classroom of the Elite, Classroom of the Elite, learn to talk, as well as a bunch of other anime. But at least it's a studio that isn't out of business this time. Seriously, we seem to cover a lot of those. But the point I'm getting at here is, wouldn't this anime have made more sense to come out before part 1? I mean, before part 2? Because normally you would have an anime come out to recap a previous game's events to catch people up for the sequel. But this anime came out after part 2 had been out for almost a year in Japan. Doesn't make much sense to me. What was it promoting at that point? But, yeah. If you couldn't tell by the months, they condensed a roughly 30-hour visual novel into 13 episodes. I don't even know how to describe my frustration with this. Funimation would get the rights to the Danganronpa anime and release their Blu-ray in November of 2015, just 2 months after the Ultra Despair Girls game launched over here. And Funimation would go one step farther with their, in my opinion, complete idiocy and replace 95% of the game's English dubcast. Keep in mind, this game's dubcast with the recurring characters has been consistent across all of the games released up to that point in the US, or West in general, actually. I don't know what was going through Funimation's head here, especially when they dubbed BlazBlue Hyperdimension Neptunia in the Disgaea animes, and for all 3 of those, they got back almost everyone. They got back everybody they could, yet for Danganronpa, they decide not to? That already put me in a bad spot with this anime, but let's give it a chance. So, I'm going to break down what Danganronpa is for those who don't know now. Picture this, if you would. Imagine an academy where the most gifted people around go to attend to perfect their talents. For example, one student could be the ultimate martial artist, another could be, I don't know, the ultimate animator, just for example's sake, right? Well, our protagonist is known as the ultimate lucky student. For his talent, seems to be luck. He's a normal guy that just got selected to join the school based on a raffle. Upon arriving at the academy, he blacks out and wakes up in an empty classroom, with all the windows sealed off. Now, in the game, this is where you take control of him. And you start, I guess, relating to the character a bit as he comments on everything as you make him walk forward throughout the derelict school until coming to the main hall area where you see 14 other students like yourself, all each with their own ultimate talents trapped just like you. The game forces you to walk around and interact with each individual confused student like yourself and get to know them a little bit. They also tell you their talent. For example, you even have the ultimate moral compass. Basically a guy who's a complete dick for the rules, but I digress. So, after you interact with all 14 students, it's at this point where the game really takes off. A half-white, half-black, colored-in bear mascot appears, named Monokuma. And he seems cheerful and upbeat, but you could tell there's something off about him. He informs the students that they are trapped, and with no way to get out, there is only one escape. The students must commit murder and then get away with it at a class trial. So basically, Student A must kill Student B, cover up their tracks, and then get away with it in the trial so that none of the other students figure out Student A is the culprit. At the end of the trial, the students must all take a vote, and if they guess correctly, they all get to live, and Student A, in this case, will be executed. But if they guess wrong, every other student will be executed while A is released. It's a very, very interesting take on something we've seen done before in, say, Phoenix Wright. This game was heavily inspired by movies such as Battle Royale and things of that nature, and it shows. So that's basically the setup. These students are forced to kill each other in order to escape, and motives are thrown in, such as blackmailing by releasing secrets to everyone, money, and stuff like that. Basically anything to get the ball rolling. Monokuma is goofy, but at the same time incredibly intimidating, and it works incredibly well. Again, hearing about a teddy bear mascot coercing people to commit murder sounds kind of dumb, but in the game setting it works. And kind of in the anime. Now, here's where the anime fucks up. The anime immediately has Makoto, our protagonist, ultimate lucky student, wake up, go out into the main hall, and it throws all 14 other characters at you with text boxes pop up telling you what their talent is, and they each get 1 or 2 lines of dialogue. Then Monokuma shows up, tells them what to do, and that's it. The game takes great time here getting you to build up with these characters so you get to know them, so that when the bodies start dropping, you feel bad. In fact, the game even has free time events when there's no killing going on, I guess, where you get to hang out with a character of your choice and maybe even raise their social link a bit. Yeah, see, they even borrowed from Persona. How cool is that? The anime doesn't have any of these sequences, and again, that's kind of a problem. Because of that, you don't get to know any of these characters' quirks. You don't get to know what their likes are. I mean, I suppose you kind of do, but not what makes them tick, not for the most part. And that's my biggest grievance with this anime. Danganronpa is easily in my top 5 favorite visual novels of all time, particularly the first one. And to see it abridged to such a degree where they take... Danganronpa is broken up into 6 chapters, right? Each chapter starts off with setting the tone, then you have a free time event, and then you have a murder, investigation, trial, conclusion. They all follow that pattern. Granted, some might break it here or there with looking around and exploring a bit at the beginning of some chapters, but the point is, there's a specific formula there, and each chapter takes around 6 hours to beat. The anime condenses each chapter to just 2 episodes. That's roughly 40 to 45 minutes of content. That used to be 5 to 6 hours. Do you see my problem? I'm not saying they had to keep in every last ounce of filler dialogue or stuff like that. They could have extended this to 26 episodes and kept in those free time events so that Makoto could hang out with each person so that viewers could get a chance to feel for these characters. Because otherwise, let's say episode 5 rolls around and you see someone convicted as guilty, so they're executed, right? Okay, great. I knew this person for 2 or 3 episodes and they got barely any screen time. I don't care. I'll go into more detail in the spoiler section, but it should be noted, some people have stated they got into Danganronpa with this anime, and more power to you. But as someone who's played the visual novels and been a massive, massive fan of the franchise, all the way back since, I want to say very early 2016, I don't know. I'd still recommend the VN in its place. But we're not quite done yet. That's only the plot. What about everything else? Animation-wise, from what I've gathered, people are saying it's fair, it's decent. Studio Lurch are known for having okay animation, from what I could pick up. And I will give the anime this, the soundtrack department. They use the entire OST from the games. Thank you! That's what I wanted! I like when anime adaptations do that, because it makes viewers of the anime that are fans of the games feel a little more at home, like, oh, hey, I know this, and you mark out a bit. In fact, the opening of the first anime, more on that in a bit, is actually the main theme of the game, or a remixed version of it, and that's awesome. So, good on you. Now, we have Dubster Dive. Actually, before that, a couple of other things I want to nitpick real quick. The sound does also use sound effects from the game, which is cool, but this is where it messes up a little bit. Not the sound, just the choices in anime directing in general. You see, during the trial, there are mini games you have to do. For example, one of them is called Hangman's Gambit, where you have to shoot a bunch of letters that are flying by to spell out a word. It's gimmicky as hell, but it works for a game environment. They kept this shit in the anime. Why? Where someone will ask a question, and Makoto will then picture Hangman's Gambit in his head and shoot out the words. What the fuck? Not everything has to be carried over from the games, damn it. Come on. It's odd they chose to carry stuff over like that, and the evidence you find in the investigation is called truth bullets. Makoto actually shoots these truth bullets into the opposing person's mouth that he's debating with at the trial. Again, why was this kept in the anime? I know some people might say, oh, that's kind of cool, it keeps up the style, but for me personally, I don't think that needed to be carried over. The two mediums are completely different, and some things work, while others don't. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way real quick. Now, for Dubster Dive, and... oh, boy. Alright. This series, as mentioned, has 2 English dubs. The game series, which is the dub I'm way more familiar with, and the anime English dub. As I stated before, I marathoned all the games that were out at the time. 1, 2, Ultra Despair Girls. Then went back and watched the anime a few years ago. Upon rewatching it now, and looking up dubbed footage of the game, I'd say my opinion from back then is still the same as it is now. Firstly, the ADR director is Chris Bevins, and he does have some interesting things on the Blu-ray commentary that he points out. For example, he wanted some characters to be voiced by males that were female. It's really odd. I'll get to that in a bit. But Makoto's voice actor is the only one here who reprises his role from the game. He's voiced by Bryce Papenbrook. You know, Meliodas from Seven Deadly Sins, or Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. Someone who I think is a really good voice actor, and in this anime, he does a great job, just like in the games. You can tell he's very familiar with what he's doing, and knows the character inside and out. After voicing him for an entire series, that makes sense. So, why do I bring this up? Because originally, he might not have even played Makoto in the anime dub. Apparently, it was when he was recording Attack on Titan at the time that Chris Bevins asked him to voice the role. Alright, so what about everyone else? Well, allegedly, they didn't want to have to delay the box set, so they said fuck it, I guess? Again, I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but with Funimation's track record of incompetency these last couple years, it wouldn't surprise me if they took rushing out the box set over getting everybody back. So, Makoto, he's alright. Next, we have Ali Asahina, voiced by Cassandra Lee Morris in the games, and Felicia Angel in the anime. Cassandra Lee Morris is known for Morgana in Persona 5, Taiga in Toradora, while Felicia Angel is, well, she's known for a bunch of shit over at Funnyland. She voices Shinoa in Seraph of the End, just to name one of her more notable roles off the top of my head. And I gotta be honest, she does a good job as Asahina. It's one of those things where it sounds like she's trying to be really close to Cassandra Lee Morris's take on the character, and I think it's okay. I don't have any complaints about this one. Next, we have Kyoko Kirigiri. In the games, voiced by Erica Harlocker, while in the anime, voiced by Caitlin Glass. Erica Harlocker, known for Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter as one major role. Caitlin Glass, we've covered her before. She's main in Skippy, as well as Winry from Fullmetal Alchemist. And I don't think I can really pick one here. I don't have an issue with either of them. I guess I could say Kyoko, because you get a lot more... Yeah, you could say with Kyoko. Erica as Kyoko, I mean. You get a lot more of her in the game than Caitlin Glass's portrayal in the anime, but overall, I'd say either portrayal is fine. Next, we have Byakuya Togami, voiced by, oh no, the first name I'm not going to be able to pronounce, Jason Wishnaf? I think that's how you pronounce that. To be honest, I barely even know who this is. Anyway, that's who voices him in the game. In the anime, it's Josh Greeley, aka every harem protagonist in the existence of any Funimation dubbed harem. Main of Date Alive, main of In Another World with My Smartphone, main of Akashic Records. I think you get the idea. And personally, I prefer Byakuya from the games. Again, after hearing him in Danganronpa 1, 2, and Ultra Despair Girls, you're gonna naturally prefer the one you've heard more that you're more used to. Josh Greeley's performance is fine, and I've heard some people actually prefer him, and again, it's fair. Not gonna argue with you on that one. Just personal preference on my part, and probably because, again, I heard him more in the games. Next, we have Chihiro Fujisaki, voiced by Dorothy Fawn in the games, who's Kaoru from Rurouni Kenshin, so her credibility speaks for itself as a voice actress. And it's at this point I should mention that I have to put up with Chris Sabat, Monica Royale, Jamie Markey, and Fujisaki's anime dub voice Kara Edwards, all in a single show. Please wish me luck to get through the rest of this. So yes, Fujisaki's anime voice actress is Cara Edwards, or Videl from Dragon Ball, or Goten. And judging it on its own merit, neither of them are particularly bad. Again, I'd slightly prefer Dorothy, but biases aside, both of them are fine. Next, we have Sayaka, voiced by Dorothy Fawn in the game. Guys, double casting, really? Come on, it's only 16 main characters. Anyway, Dorothy Fawn in the game, and Monica Rial in the anime. Okay. So, my thoughts? Again, I can't really complain too much. Both of them do fine, I suppose. This is one of those characters that I think either one works. It's all down to preference. Next on the list, we have Leon. No, not Leon S. Kennedy from Resident Evil. In the games, he's voiced by Grant George. Whereas in the anime, he's Justin Cook. Grant George we've covered on here before. Someone from Skip Beat. He's also known for voicing Izuru in Bleach. He's been in a lot of stuff. Though as most people like to call him the Hentai Master, because of course they do. Justin Cook is, well, Haru from Fruits Basket, Raditz from Dragon Ball. And, again, no complaints on either one. Both roles are fine. My personal opinion, I prefer Grant George as a voice actor, so I'm going to side slightly with him, but nothing against Justin Cook. This is just personal preference on my part. But either one is okay. Next, we have Mondo, voiced by Keith Silverstein, or Stein, in the games, and Chris Sabat in the anime. Alright, this is one thing I gotta think is really cool here. You see, take a look at Mondo from Danganronpa, and he looks exactly like Kuwabara. Everyone makes the joke, everyone does. And Chris Sabat does his Kuwabara voice for him. You don't believe me? Go look up the dub clips from Yu Yu Hakusho, from the Blu-ray releases, of course, the ones that were redubbed, because that would sound a little closer to the modern, I guess, Sabatisms. And then listen to Mondo and Danganronpa, the animation. It's like, okay, that's actually a really nice touch, guys. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Too bad Chris Sabat had to turn out to be kind of a dick, huh? Whereas Keith Silverstein does a great job as Mondo as well. Again, biases aside, Chris Sabat's Kuwabara thing is kind of amazing. Though Keith Silverstein's Mondo makes him sound... I don't know how to put it. I'm trying to think of the words here. I guess Mondo's talent is he's the ultimate biker. So, Mondo, as Keith, he makes him sound a little more intimidating to me personally. Again, that could just be me, but I don't know. Kuwabara as Mondo just sounded goofy. I couldn't take it as seriously, even though it was a cool reference. And it was kind of cool, him and Leon had an interaction in the first episode, where they're like, hey, it's like all the fights we used to get in when we were thrown in jail, remember? Again, Leon being Justin Cook, Yu Yu Hakusho reference, because they always got in fights. It's kind of cool. Moving on, we have Celestia Lutenberg, and... oh, no. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Mary Harton? I can't pronounce that. Hartington? Someone is gonna hate me for this in the comments. I know everyone is. It's okay. I apologize ahead of time. Anyway, that's who voices her in the games. Terrible Tornado from Season 1 of One Punch Man, just to name one of her more famous roles off the top of my head. In the anime, it's Lindsay Seidel, who most people know as Nagisa from Assassination Classroom. Ironic, another show that this studio would animate. And again, both are okay. I think I prefer Arrington's performance, though, just slightly. And again, that's all down to screen time. Get more screen time in the game as you do to the anime, with more time to work with. So, moving on from that, we have Hifumi Yamada, voiced by Lucian Dodge, who we've covered here before, Record of Grand Crest Tour, in the anime, and Tyson Reinhardt, and let me fix this again. Lucian Dodge voices him in the game, Tyson Reinhardt voices him in the anime. Tyson Reinhardt would be the main in Kimono Michi, he'd be Daru in Steins Gate, just to name a couple roles, and again, both are fine. Slightly prefer Lucian Dodge's take on the character, but doesn't matter. Next, we have Sakura, the ultimate martial artist, voiced by Jessica George in the anime, and why do I keep doing that? In the games, and in the anime, voiced by Rachel Robinson. Both, again, are fine. This is one, though, I might prefer the anime version of. No disrespect to Jessica George, it's just Rachel Robinson does a great job as this character. It should be noted that Sakura is, I guess, very muscular with her build and kind of masculine. Chris Bevins had stated he wanted a male to originally voice that character, and no, please. This dub was on the verge of ending up disastrous. I don't understand what the hell he was thinking here. But, yeah. Next, we have Ishimaru, voiced by Sean Shiplock in the game, and Austin Tendo in the anime. So, Sean Shiplock, known for voicing Subaru and ReZero, whereas Austin Tendo is probably most known for Karma in Assassination Classroom, or Accelerator in the Assert franchise. And, both are fine. I gotta be honest, though, I'm probably gonna give this one to Austin Tendo. So, yeah. I don't know, something about his performance here really stood out to me for some reason. I thought he did a really great job as him. It's too bad he wasn't able to voice him in the game, though, because some of Ishimaru's scenes in the game, especially with his big character moment in Chapter 3, I think he might have worked a little better than the anime's abridging. But either way, yeah. Next we have Yasuhiro, voiced by Keiji Tang in the game, and Chris Bevins in the anime. So, Chris Bevins cast himself. I'm personally not a fan of ADR directors that do that. If it's for a one-off role, that's fine, but for a main character, I don't know, I find that a little dickish. Before anyone says anything, I'm not trying to encourage any, hate speech towards it. No, of course not. I'm saying it's a problem in the anime dubbing thing in general. I believe we've brought this up before in a couple of our other Dubster dives, but yeah. As far as Yasuhiro goes, this one I'm going to give to Keiji Tang. Chris Bevins brings the whole surfer dude to him, which works, but I don't know, I prefer Yasuhiro's take on him. Yasuhiro's take on himself. Keiji Tang's take on Yasuhiro. Man, I messed this up. I think that works much better. Next, we have Toko Fukawa, voiced by Amanda C. Miller in the game, and Aaron Fitzgerald as well. Whereas in the anime, it's Carly Mosier, who voiced Lucy in Elfenlied. And without giving spoilers, I think that's actually appropriate. And I gotta give Carly Mosier credit. She did a good job with this character. I can't go into much more detail for spoiler reasons. I'll wait till the spoiler section to bring my final thoughts up on that. But overall, Good job. Okay, now it's time to get to some of the frustrating ones. I was saving these for last. People knew I would. So, first we have Monokuma, voiced by Brian Beacock in the games. And in the anime, it's Greg Aris. Look, I'm a person that believes every voice actor and actor in general has one role they were born to play. I've stated this numerous times. For example, Vic Mignogna with Ed, Hugh Jackman with Wolverine, Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man, see what I mean? Stuff like that. Brian Beacock, in my opinion, was born to play Monokuma. His performance as him is the stuff of a legend, in my opinion. And if I ever met him, I would say, dude, you were awesome in this series. Thank you so much for voicing him. I don't know. But I think he did a fantastic job in the games. Greg Aris, look, I'm not going to front here. Greg Aris' Monokuma is something you'll either find okay or you're going to completely hate. And I'm going to be honest, I'm in the latter camp. I think he does okay, but to me, Brian Beacock is always going to be Monokuma. He's Monokuma in every single game, alright? So, he's very integral to the series. He's the mascot of the whole franchise. So, I feel besides Bryce, they could have also gotten him in for this as well in the dub. Very much missed opportunity for me. So, yeah, Brian Beacock all the way. Next, we have Komaru, Makoto's younger sister. Now, for those who are unaware, Ultra Despair Girls, the spin-off, follows her as the main character. In this game, she's voiced by Jeremy Lee. Keep in mind, the game came out a couple of months before the anime. In the anime, she only has one or two voiced lines, but they didn't get Jeremy Lee. Instead, they got Alexis Tipton. Again, Alexis Tipton is not a bad voice actress. Before anyone says anything, any of these voice actors I don't agree with being replacements for the game's dub. I'm not saying they're bad VAs. I feel like I need to make that clear because people are going to think I'm hating on them. No. I'm saying which ones I prefer, which ones I don't, in my opinion. Again, opinion. So Alexis Tipton is Komaru, and I believe I heard somewhere that Jeremy Lee was recording Ultra Despair Girls at the time, so she couldn't be in to dub the anime anyways. But that begs the question. Maybe, if, I don't know, they delayed the Blu-ray by another 6 months to a year, they could get her and a lot of the other game VAs back. Just saying. So, after playing Ultra Despair Girls, I'm gonna have to stick with Jeremy Lee. Again, Jeremy Lee is far better as Komaru, in my opinion. Nothing against Alexis Tipton here. It's just after hearing that, you know, a voice for a character for 20 plus hours, it's cemented in your brain. But, that being said, I did prefer Austin Tendo and a couple of the other ones in the anime's dub, so let's keep going. Alright. We're on the last one. Junko Enoshima, voiced by Amanda C. Miller in the game, Jamie Marchi in the anime. Do I even need to say anything here? Look, Amanda C. Miller is Sailor Jupiter, to name one of her most famous roles now, Boruto, and Jamie Marchi. It's no secret, Jamie Marchi is the one voice actress I think is easily one of the worst working at Funimation today, full stop. I've never been a fan of her work, even before the 2019 BS. So, I think you all can guess which ones I prefer. I can't go any farther with a lot of these dub performances, though, without spoiling things for obvious reasons. Some of these characters die, some of these don't. So, needless to say, this dub is a very mixed bag for me. I would swap out some but keep others. It's very strange, and I don't think I've ever been in that situation before, so gotta give the anime props for that. Though what I will not give the anime props for is using the game or the Japanese terminology over the game's localized terminology. Let me explain. So, earlier I had stated that the Ultimates were what they were called in the games, right? This isn't entirely true. It is in the Western versions. In the Japanese, they're called super high school level talents. Way lamer, in my opinion. So, the super high school level martial artist, or the ultimate martial artist, which sounds cooler, come on. And, I don't know, Funimation went with the Japanese terms instead of the games, so it's hard to take it seriously when they go on about, well, yeah, this talent's this, super high school level this. It's like, okay, it sounds kind of dumb. I'm sorry. I know some people will probably strongly disagree with me on that, but again, just my opinion on this. Either way, this dub for the anime is okay. It's kind of hard to compete with the game, though, on a fair level when the game is much longer, so you get more time with these characters. I mean, the trial sections are sometimes only half an episode in the anime, whereas in the game, each trial is roughly 2 to 3 hours, maybe even longer. So, anyways, yeah. I know some people like this anime, and that's fine. You're okay too. You're okay too, don't mind. It's all cool. I'm personally gonna have to give this anime a C-, though. It's not terrible, but I wouldn't call it great either. It's one of those where it might get someone interested in checking out the VN to see what they missed, but I don't know if I could call this a classic. I don't know if I could put this up there with the all-time greats of game to anime adaptations. And let's be honest, the Castlevania anime on Netflix set the bar pretty damn high on that one. So, getting into spoiler territories now, and my other issues with the anime of why I graded it so low. If you don't want to hear any more, I guess GTFO then. And I'd highly recommend picking up the visual novel. It's on everything. PS Vita, PS4, Switch, Steam. For the 10th anniversary, they put it on the phone. So, come on. It's on sale all the time, too. I highly recommend it. There's even trilogy collections out there now with the 3 main games. Then you can just go out and pick up a spin-off. There you go. All of the games, including the spin-off, I'd highly recommend playing. They're all decent games and incredibly well-written stories. And that's kind of the problem with the anime. Some of that shines through, but not enough of it. The anime doesn't get the point across that the games do. As stated, the message of the games is hope. Hope in the face of despair. That no matter how bad shit gets, no matter how terrifying life can be at times, just hold on to hope. That eventually, things will get brighter. And if the world seems shit like there is no hope, then make your own hope. That's the message of Danganronpa. And it sounds cliche and cheesy, but I think it's a powerful message that works. Now then, moving on to spoilers, so yeah. Let's get into that then. As I said, C- for the anime, but yeah. Okay, firstly, I have to ask, probably didn't need to put this under spoilers section, but oh well. In the very first episode, alright? Or second episode, rather. Monokuma's motive is blackmail by threatening people's families. When Makoto watches his tape that Monokuma gives him, why does Komaru say, "I'm rooting for you, little bro"? Komaru's his younger sister in the game's canon. Believe me, I went back and checked the episode. I don't know if that's a dub thing or not, but either way, someone really fucked up there. Because, yeah, Kamaru's his younger sister, not his older one. And I know people are like, that's modern. That's kind of an issue, though, that shouldn't even exist. Even if it is a minor nitpick. Next, we have why I was bringing up Sayaka and saying it didn't matter. I'm sure people could probably guess. She's the first victim, so Monica voicing her, it's not really much of an issue. It's because, again, the character's barely there to begin with. In the game, it's more impactful because in the game, with your free time events, most people are going to go hang out with her right away on instinct. After all, when me and my good friend Mansoor Goku played the game back in the day, it was only 4 years ago, that was the first person we went to. Because she's the only one wanting to be your friend and trust you. So she actually feels like a legitimate friend, so when she dies, it hits you like, oh shit, the game went right for your friend right out of the gate. Obviously it was predictable. It was even setting itself up to be predictable. But in the anime, you don't get any real connection with the character. You see she might care about Makoto, and that's it. The player or the viewer doesn't get a real chance to connect with her is the problem. And it's the same with most of these characters. Moving on, though, I can finally talk about this. Junko and Oshima. Oh yes, those who've played the games know exactly who Junko and Oshima is. And I didn't mention one of her other voice actresses for this reason. So, in the games, it is Amanda C. Miller and Aaron Fitzgerald, again, much like with Toko. In the anime, it being Jamie Marchi is awful. I'm sorry, guys. It just is. Junko has a thing of flipping between one of 6 to 8 different personalities. Because there's 2 voice actors, they're able to do this masterfully. And, to be honest, both of them are on a higher caliber than Jamie Marchi could ever be. I'm sorry, I'm gonna put that out there. Jamie Marchi, on the other hand, having to do 6 to 8 different voices, it's laughably bad. It's one of those things where it's like, just no. Alright? I understand that she's trying now, and she is genuinely attempting. A for effort, but I'm sorry. No. It's not intimidating. You're slipping into your Valley Girl voice a lot, alright? This isn't Yukana from Girlfriend is a Gal. Amanda C. Miller is able to pull that off and make it also sound menacing at the same time. You, quite frankly, are not, Jamie. I'm sorry. Now, let's go back and talk about Amanda C. Miller and Aaron Fitzgerald's other role, Toko. I've got to give Carly Mosier props here. Toko has multiple personalities, and in the games is known as Genocider Jill in the US. Or Genocide Jill. In the anime, they went with the Japanese one again and called her Genocider Sho, her second personality. Why? I know some people prefer that naming, but again, this is meant to be an English dub of a game adaptation. Why not use terminologies from the English dub of the game that you're adapting over here for us? But what I'm getting at is, Carly Mosier able to flip between the 2 voices like that, that is a great job. I gotta give you props for that. And again, Genocide Jill or Genocider Show, whichever you prefer, being a crazed psycho person, and Carly also voicing Lucy from Elfenlied from back in the day. Perfect casting, great match. I give you props to that one. That one's good. No issue here. Alright. Next. We have one other thing on the cast list to bring up. The anime sequel baits for a season 2 based on the second game. And at the very end, the mascot for the second game shows up, right? Monami, that's her name. Okay. So, in the anime, it's Anastasia Munoz. You know, Minerva from Fairy Tail, Mina from Strike Witches. no issue here. In the games, Rebecca Forstadt, I think that's how you pronounce her name, or not only from Code Geass. It's, again, not really much to go on. It's one line. Anastasia does an okay job. Just figured I'd bring it up because I'm sure someone else might have if I didn't, since she's a main character from the Danganronpa franchise. So I guess let's talk about the last few issues I have with the anime real quick. Let's talk about when Junko's twin gets killed off. So at the beginning, Mukuro Ukusaba defies Monokuma and gets speared, right? In the games, she says this wasn't supposed to happen. Why me? That's a clue for something to come much later. And the anime, she just says, okay, not gonna lie, kinda weird. What? That doesn't even... No. No, in the game, it works because she feels betrayed, like something went wrong, that she wasn't supposed to die. And in the anime, it's just... I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. Alright. The last one, I guess I'll bring up, the last big thing is, in my favorite trial in particular in the first game, Chapter 3. So, this is where the anime also messes up a bit, in my opinion. You see, in the game, everyone calls each other by their first name. Except Hifumi Yamada. He calls everyone by their last name, right? So, for Yasuhiro, he calls him Hagakure. For Celeste, he calls her Lutenberg. Makoto, he calls him Naegi. In the anime, though, everyone calls each other by their last names. So in the third case, when Hifumi dies, his final word is to tell them who killed him. And he says, Yasuhiro. So everyone's like, Yasuhiro Hagakure. But then, later in the trial, they're like, no, that's wrong. Hifumi only calls everyone by their last name. Like, but everyone does. So that doesn't really work here. It just doesn't. So you find out Yasuhiro is the last name of his actual killer, because, they were using a fake name. But the issue here is, how do they know that? It makes sense in the context of the game. Makoto thinks back, or rather the player is supposed to think back for Makoto, on Hifumi's speech patterns and put the pieces together. Like, wait a minute, he would never call him Yasuhiro, he'd call him Hagakure. But here, it doesn't work for that reason. Also, it should be obvious this anime has pull evidence out of ass syndrome, but I didn't even feel like bringing that up because, well, usually a lot of these detective show animes have that problem. Not saying all do, if anyone says anything. I said a lot, not all. I know there's some that break the mold. Either way, though, I think I've rambled on this anime long enough. I had to cover 2 completely different dubcasts and go into a long history lesson, and I hope I explained everything well enough for you all to understand my point of view as to why I'm not the biggest fan of this Danganronpa anime. I am going to head out of here, but I'd like to thank each and every one of you for watching, and let me know what you thought of Danganronpa the animation in the comments below. Did you like it more than I did? Or did you hate it more than I did? Again, I think it's passable, but it's not great, and that's probably because I came from the games and went back to the anime, so probably some biasism there. Overall, though, I'd say it's worth at least one watch, even if you've played the games and think you've seen everything. So thank you all so much for watching, and yes, Danganronpa is in my top 5 favorite visual novels, but it's not number 1. No, my number 1 visual novel did get an anime adaptation, and trust me, that one is coming soon. But we might have a couple of pit stops to make before that. We'll see. Depends on what's going on. Anyways, Thank you all again so much for watching, and if you have anything you'd like us to cover, please leave a comment below, and we'll cover it eventually, maybe. Hope you all have a great day, and yeah, till next time, guys. Bye!